Basement of La Penta. This is WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino. We are rolling along with today's show, and honestly, it is time to get into some New York City Football Club. Now, obviously, for people who follow me on all my platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, you see that one of the privileges that I have is I'm able to cover New York City FC, and look, it's been one of the most pleasures I've had in my young career. It's a tremendous honor, and I love covering the club. And obviously, if you are a fan of the club, it was not an easy one to swallow last night as the Red Bulls defeated New York City FC in the first competition against these two. This is the New York Derby now. It's our own kind of derby. I hope that we'll have a lot of exciting, fun ones as the years go on. But in the first one, the Red Bulls get the victory 2-1 over the New York City FC. Now, here's the most disappointing thing for NYCFC. I think right now at this point, when you look at them, it's not good right now. Look, they have 6 points. They're in 8th in the Eastern Conference. 10 matches played at this point. 1 win, 3 draws, 6 losses. Now, that's not good, and it's frustrating in the sense that they haven't been awful, and these numbers suggest that they're awful, but that's not the case. There's so many. They're getting opportunities. There's a lot of things to put your hat on. Jason Kreis is an excellent coach. He's won virtually everywhere he's ever been in the MLS, and I've been to so many of his press conferences, and there's nobody who's more frustrated right now than Jason Kreis. And I know we talked about one of the last matches I was there. For the last match I was there, he talked about, look, it's a lot of sleepless nights for him right now, trying to figure out ways to put this team in a position to win. He's doing whatever it takes, and look, I think there's just the identity isn't there yet, and I'm not going to panic tremendously because, again, like I said before, they've played 10 matches in this club's existence. It's going to take some time. Now, Pablo Alvarez and David Villa are obviously, you're seeing now, I think, 2 of the guys. Obviously, David Villa is the face right now. Frank Lampard is going to be the other part of that when he arrives, but the season for the Premier League has not ended yet, so he is just in the distance waiting. Right now, it's David Villa as the face. And look, yesterday, I did not think it was David Villa's strongest performance. Now, again, I don't think he touched the ball as much as I thought he needed to. I thought Pablo Alvarez definitely got a lot more touches in this one. But I think the biggest thing is maybe you can't put too much into it because of how much David Villa has struggled with the injuries in this one. Now, Jason Kreis obviously did take David Villa out, and he did take Pablo Alvarez out as substitutes, and David Villa especially didn't look happy, but I understand it to a point. Was a little bit more energy. I wouldn't say energy, but they did look a little bit more sharp once David Villa came out as a substitute. And again, he is also dealing with the injuries that he's had. He's been missed some time, so I understand wanting to be a little precautious there. But at the same time, the thing that frustrates you the most about this match is the Red Bulls were playing with 10 men for the majority of this match, and they still won this one 2-1, and they really still looked like that they were in full control, even with 10 men against the one advantage that New York City FC had. That is very frustrating, especially I know how frustrating it had to be for Coach Kreis, how frustrating it had to be for the players. Now, they did get the late goal. Mullen scored in the 76th minute. But for the most part, this was really a full control Red Bulls performance, and it's another very frustrating one for NYCFC. They're back next Friday against the Chicago Fire. I will be at that one covering it, so I'm excited for that. I just think right now they need a win so bad. They get one win, and they could start to turn the page because Frank Lampard, again, it's in the distance, but the distance is not that far off. The Premier League season is coming to a wrap. He will be here soon. It's frustrating because I get it. It's got to be so frustrating when you talk to the players, which I have in many cases, and you could just see it because there's good signs there. They're doing some things well, but I think that win hasn't came yet. It's been so long. When they get that win, I think then they can start to look ahead, but that win has not come, and it's just really, really tough to see right now. And Their goals have came. The goals haven't been coming for them. Now, Saunders has given up some goals, but in some cases it's been defensive breakdowns. I have liked what I've seen from Saunders in cases. Some goals, look, when you look at the last home match they lost against Seattle, some of those were just great. I mean, Seattle's a great team. Some of those were just fantastic goals. But I think for the most part, the biggest thing I don't know if you could put your finger on is there an identity for New York City Football Club? Is there an identity of how they want to play, how they want to react, the chemistry on the club? I don't know if you could put your finger on something like that. Now, these problems are not easy to figure out. Jason Kreis, like I said before, he's expressed in the press conferences. I've listened to him talk, and you could see it. Sleepless nights have been very persistent for him. There's not one thing I think you can see right now, and it's frustrating. I know how frustrating it's got to be for NYCFC, but again, I take a lot of it with a grain of salt because at the same time they've existed for 10 matches, and you expect there to be some growing pains. It's a little bit odd in the sense that I think when you look at their first match against Orlando, getting the tie like they did, and then winning at home against the New England Revolution like they did, you would think that they would only continue to go up from there, but it's been more of a decline and more of trying to figure out and build that identity. And right now, we'll see. I mean, look, I think Quadro Poku coming off the bench each time has shown great things. I've read a lot of the fans' comments, and I think a lot of the fans really have been supportive of Poku, and I have as well. I mean, from the guys I've covered the matches with, from myself, when you watch the guy, he's always been very active. You really can see the difference when he comes in off the bench. So I think Poku has certainly done a lot of good things, and certainly things you could hang your hat on with. But I think for the most part, this team still needs their identity. David Villa, as he gets healthier, Pablo Alvarez, I think that combination right there is going to be very promising moving forward. But there certainly is a lot of questions that still exist for NYCFC. I mean, I don't know if we're going to be continuing to ask the same questions until Frank Lampard arrives. But, I mean, certainly you would think when Frank Lampard arrives and you have that guy you can really sink your teeth into, you have David Villa, you have Frank Lampard, you have Pablo Alvarez, you really start to have a formidable trio of attackers, guys who really are the face of your club. Then I think you start to see more of the answers. But right now, certainly this is a club that is desperate for the answers, and I understand the frustration. I will be there on May 15th against the Chicago Fire. We'll see if NYCFC can bounce back. I can guarantee you from my time covering the club that Jason Kreis, as we speak right now, is probably going over the film, trying to do whatever he can to get this club in a position. And I think it's frustrating now, but I think that time will come because there is a lot of talent on this club. There are signs that this club can do good things, but right now it's just not happening, and we will see when it will happen. But for my NYCFC segment, I'm going to end it right here, and we'll come back very soon with some more stuff. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.